welcome back to It's Miracle Beauty. My name is Brandy, and I try to base my channel on utilizing what you already have and getting your money's worth of the products you already own versus concentrating on buying new. So a lot of my videos are pan challenges, inventory updates, things like that. My pan challenges do run slightly different than other people, which I do think they're very personalized and everybody can kind of run them how they see fit. Mine are not always used to completion. I want to go through as much of my collection as I can each year, and so some items I use to completion, some items I use X number of times for X number of months. So it all just varies, but not everything is the goal to complete. In fact, some of them are trial by fire to see if I even want to keep them. And so I may not even use enough during that month to make a difference, but I know I don't like it, or I know I want to keep it, or whatever. So this intro is on all of my pan challenges for this month. I do 3 updates, and this intro is on all of them because I have an autoimmune. I work a very intense and more than full-time job and have a family. This does create an ease of use for me. So if you've made it this far, get a drink. Let's sit down and go through my pan challenges 1 through 3, and let's get started. Okay, so the first one that I always do is the 23 and 23. This one, all 3 of my pans are rolling. Really, it's just to diversify for me. So I have sections. Next year, I'm thinking about doing it slightly different, and I think I'm only going to do 2. It's not even that's a lot. I've used more product this year than I've ever used in my entire history of painting. However, it does create a little bit of, especially when people ask questions like, why is this and this one versus this one, or this and this one versus that one? So I think I'm going to design a little bit different next year, but have the same basic system, if that makes sense. So 23 and 23, a lot of these products were in it from the beginning, and then a lot of them are new-ish. So we're going to see some change over this month because some got used and some I've just decided I've used enough. I'm good. So one last point I want to make, this is 9-hour-old makeup. This is the only day I can film, so this is what we're looking at. On my face, because I love this foundation combination, is the Essential, which I'm sure I butchered that, and the Beauty Blenders Tinted Sunscreen or tinted moisturizer. Those 2 create the most beautiful glowy foundation, and it lasts all day, every time I wear it. So I'm really impressed with this so far. I've used it a couple times now. So let's get started on this pan challenge. First thing I have is my Fenty bronzer. This has been in here, I believe, since the beginning of the year, but originally I had a bunch of bronzers in here. I feel like I say this every single month on this one. The imprint is getting lighter. And it is legitimately getting lighter every month, but it is a very strong imprint, and I did not have a ton of use when I first started using this. So every month it's getting flatter and flatter and flatter. I probably use this more this month than I have in the history of this pan challenge. So I'm hoping if we see more months like that, we'll see some use in this, which again, I concentrate on painting pan on another bronzer most of the year, the It Cosmetics bronzer, not It Cosmetics. The Pure bronzer. I ended up decluttering because it had obviously gone bad, but the Pure bronzer, it took me like 9 months or 8 months to hit pan. So that one is staying in, and we're going to keep it going forward. Next is the Fenty highlighter. This one is also staying in. I love this one. I have huge dips, had huge dips when I started. They only just keep getting deeper, and I'm going to continue to use this probably until it's gone because I really, truly enjoy this bronzer. It is kind of hot in here. In case you've never watched my channel before, I film in my walk-in closet. We created a vanity and a beauty room thing in here. The sun hits on the house this way, and it's like when the sun is setting, it's heading this way, and so it's pointing right at the side of the house. It's pretty warm in here, plus I have studio lights, so it does get pretty steamy in here, so you maybe see me get a lot glowier. In winter, I don't freeze. It still stays pretty good in here, even though there's no temperature control because of this sun issue. So I'm just kind of, you know, pay your dues in the summer and enjoy in the winter, and we'll just keep it moving. So the next item I actually don't have. So the next item is my Fenty Gloss Bomb. It was just a normal gloss bomb in the original Fenty color. I cannot find that lip gloss anywhere. I've looked everywhere. I don't know if I lost it, if I misplaced it, or what happened. I feel like I do this with my lip glosses a lot. I actually thought I had lost it, and then I found it, and then I lost it again. So I don't know what I did with this thing. I have no idea, but I'm going to we're going to call it quits because this doesn't get used enough because I keep losing it. And my fault, I get it, but I want to put something in its spot that we can keep using it, right? So in its place, I'm actually going to move in my Glowish Primer by Huda Beauty. This is the one that is silicone free, but is a smoothing primer. I feel like I've seen it 50-50. Some people absolutely love this primer and like swear by it, it's their holy grail, and then some go, it doesn't do anything, or I don't like it, or whatever. So I think it really is a personal experience because I adore this. I think it works fantastic. I cannot use silicone because my skin is so dry, it just looks ridiculous, and this looks amazing on my skin. So I'm excited to move this one in, and I'm okay with it. Next, going back to the pan challenge items, we have our Kosas concealer. This one I have been making a dent in this month. If you look at my marks, we're down there. It's been on its side, so you can't see it all the way, but it's down. And when I leave it like this, it's literally like the sides just go clear. That's how much is gone. So I don't think I'll have any problem finishing this by the end of the year. If you haven't been here before, was originally panning both of these because they do typically go bad. This expires 12 of 2023. I just smelled it yesterday. It still smells fine. I'm going to use it a couple times in the next week, see if maybe I need to add it back in my challenge. I'd gotten tired of it. And the concealer, in my opinion, is way better than the foundation. I don't think the foundation is horrible, but I definitely don't think it's my favorite foundation I've ever used. But I would like to get more use out of it. I probably use maybe a third of that. It's a smoked bottle and it doesn't go off the sides very easy, so it's hard to tell. But by the way that the weight and everything, and if you hold it to the light, it does seem to be about a third gone. I would feel more comfortable if it was about half before it went bad, but we'll see how that goes. So again, that concealer is staying in. The Jaclyn Hill highlighter palette is staying in. I actually really enjoy this palette. This is the original Jaclyn Hill palette that came out. I believe, somebody told me, and I believe it's true, that you can get these as individual shades at Ulta or on Jaclyn Hill's website if you choose to purchase it. I know that's a loaded thing. Some people do, some people don't. I typically don't anymore. I did buy something recently, but I normally don't anymore. This one has had a ton of use and you cannot see anything on there. I mean, these last forever. So if you have one color you love, it will last you like to your 90. So that one is definitely staying in. Next is the Good Apple foundation. This is also staying in. I enjoy this foundation immensely and I have panned so much of it. There's no way we're starting over now. This one is so close to finishing and I have 3 months before the end of the year after this. So I'm going to see what the damage I can do in this by the end of the year. It is long since expired. I will point out, I bought that the week it opened or it was released. So it's long since expired. It still functions good. I still enjoy it. It's one of my favorite foundations. So also on that same note is the Good Apple concealer. This one is so thick, it's hard to see like where it's at. Every so often I'll start seeing lines and I think, oh, it's getting towards the bottom. And then I won't see them again for a week. So I have no idea where we're at in this. Another one of my favorite products. I probably would rebuy this the day I ran out because I really, truly enjoy that concealer. If you either do not have a dry under eye or you mixed your concealers between a firming and a moisturizing, you would probably love that. If you only use one concealer and you have dry under eyes, I would not even chance it. But it is really good. I mean, that's one of my favorite ones. Next is the one that's staying in is the Dominic Cosmetics Cream Blush. This is in soft pink. This is one that if you'd asked me in January, I would have said, oh, it'd be in a few months and it'd be gone. I really enjoy this one. It's almost, I don't know if it's technically supposed to be, but it reminds me of a cream to powder finish. It goes on creamy and slowly like firms up and everything. It lasts all day. If I use powder or don't use powder, it lasts. Like it's just a really good cream blush. I typically like her products. I have a really good, and I know that all products are subjective, but I typically have a really good experience with Dominic Cosmetics. Next is the Urban Decay eyeliner in Deep End. This has become my favorite eyeliner in the entire world. I love this. It brings out my eye color. It makes so many makeup looks look beautiful. Definitely leaving that in, and I probably will repurchase that when it's gone. I'm going to use it to its nub, but it probably will get repurchased. Next is one I finished entirely. Well, at least it does. The pump doesn't work anymore. It looks like, oh, maybe not. I guess that is the pump. For a second, I was like, maybe there's some left in it. This is the Rare Beauty, what do they call this? The illuminating? Yeah, illuminating primer. I did use all of this. It's completely gone. Throwing it in the empties. And I'm glad, not that there was anything wrong with that, but I feel like it's the exact same as the other glowy primers out right now, like Say Beauty and the other ones. And I actually own those, so not super into it. I am going to replace it with the oldest primer in my collection at the moment. This is the Smith & Colt Glow Bright. Smith & Colt, I don't know if it's a brand anymore. They used to be at Ulta. When I worked there, I got this for $2.79. And it's a nice, like, it has glitter in it, or shimmer maybe is a better word for it. It has shimmer in it, but it's not, sorry, my eye is on fire. It has shimmer in like everything, but I've never had it show all the way through my foundation. It just moisturizes, looks a little glowy, like it's not a big deal. I don't mind it. I can see why some people would have a problem, especially if you have oily skin. I can see why you wouldn't want that. So that was the Rare Primer. I also have in this the Rare Concealer, and as you can see, this one was standing up so you can see the walls are down pretty far. I think it's actually a little bit past that now, but I didn't mark it because it wasn't obvious. Like, you can see it is below it, but I can't tell by how much. So that one's definitely staying in. I truly enjoy that primer or that concealer. I think it works really well. It's very moisturizing. If you have mature skin, it's a really good one for it because it does a lot of color, not color correctness, it does a lot of, you know, covering up of things, but it also doesn't make you look dry, which I personally appreciate. Next one is the NYX brown eyeliner. Another one I'm enjoying. I mean, it's a brown eyeliner. I don't need to go in depth. I enjoy it. I'm leaving it in. Leave it at that. One I am taking out that I'm literally lividly pissed about is my Natasha Denona My Dream Cheek Trio. I put this in the challenge. I used it multiple times when I first put in the challenge, more than I actually had for, like, in case you've never seen my, I'll say, oh, I want to use that 5 times this month or 8 times or whatever the amount is. And it depends. If I'm just trying to decide if I want to keep it or not, a lot of times I'll just do 5. If I want to get some use out of it before I waste my money, I'll do 5. If I'm trying to really use a product up, or if it's a product I can use in conjunction or in multiple ways, I'll put 20 times sometimes. It just depends on the product. I pulled this out during a Get Ready With Me earlier in the month, and the blush is complete. I mean, it's like rock hard dry. It's like eyeshadow powder. There's nothing there, and I did not leave it open. I did nothing. It worked fine the time before. So this is probably the 8th or 10th item from Natasha Denona's cream cheek product palettes that I've had go dry. I'm not going to buy those anymore. I adore her formula for eyeshadow, but I'm not going to do this to myself anymore. I am going to continue to utilize these two, but I'm not going to keep it in my pan challenge for just the highlighters. I was actually painting the blush anyways, so it kind of makes no sense. So that is coming out. In its place, I am going to put my, actually, in its exact place, I'm going to put the Natasha Cheek Trio. I actually was utilizing this one of the months because I accidentally couldn't remember which one I put in, and I didn't have time to watch my video, so I used it the whole month. So you can actually see there is a decent amount of use in this, and it actually is getting where it's lower than it is. It's definitely not close to pan. These are really big pans, but it definitely has some use. And this is another one that has a cream to powdery finish. So we're going to try to utilize that, see if we can make it happen. Another one that I'm leaving in is my MAC Play Blush. This is in Cheer Up. Does look, this is one of the putty blushes that MAC has. I love these, especially for natural looks. It's like a lit from within type of blush. It doesn't look, it almost looks like when you blush, like I feel like they're called that, but they rarely look that way. This actually does, at least for my skin tone. Again, can't comment on anything else, but for mine, it looks really cute. It's a really just naturally cute blush. One of my favorites that is definitely staying in, sorry, that's gonna make noise, is my Smashbox Contour Palette. I actually have a dip going in my contour shade. I'm only painting the contour shade. As you can see, that's what I use 99.99% of the time. This is probably, I don't know how many. In a video, I was trying to guess, and I was like, is it my 3rd? Is it my 4th? I honestly don't know, because I got my first one, like, I thought it was when they first came out, but somebody told me they're older than that. I got my first one, I think, 5 or 6 years ago, and I purchased them consistently. As I use that shade up, I purchase another one. So I really adore these. As long as they sell them, I will be purchasing them for my skin tone. It's a perfect shade. So that one's staying in. One that's coming out that I actually just kind of gave up on. I'm just being honest. I was only panning these 2 middle shades. I did relatively early in the year hit pan on this, but it's the top, but I have it upside down. This bottom shade in the center. This one has such a huge dip. I feel like every month I'm like, oh, I'm going to hit this month. It's so far. No, it's never happening, and I'm over it. So we are going to let that one go. In its place, we are going to put the MAC bronzer in Golden. This is a put up or shut up policy. If I don't like this by the end of October, I am going to absolutely get rid of it. I will give it to somebody. It's not anywhere near expired, so I will give it to somebody. But this is one I am not enjoying. I'm not loving this. The sun is setting, so it's changing my viewpoints. I apologize if it's distracting, but there's no way to avoid it. There's actually no way to cover up that window and not have my camera remain here. So unfortunately, this is one that so far my impression has been less than luster. It's not always the fault, like it looks bad. Sometimes it's the tone, like it just, so far I've not loved it. So that's going to be a put up or shut up. Either it works or it doesn't. At the end of the month, we're going to get rid of it. if it even lasts that long, because right now I don't have a lot of faith in it. So next we have the Rose Ink highlighter or cream highlighter in Opalescent. This is pretty much dried out. It's not, actually, never mind, I lied. It's totally dried out. It's like, just like that Natasha Denona Rose Ink cream products I won't be purchasing anymore. I've said this in a million videos. I adore the formula when it's fresh. It's literally very good. And if it's the only cream product you're buying in that category, you will be fine. I own too much, and so I don't use them consistently enough, and these go dry faster than other brands. Like that Dominique Cosmetics is double the age of these, and it's a joke. So I am going to declutter this. That is actually going to go in my empties, and I'm going to throw it away after that video. And in its place, this was a no challenge previously, and I took it out. I'm going to put it back in because I kind of want to finish it now. This is the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer. This is just a cream bronzer. It is very smooth. It's very nice. It has a very shallow pan and not a lot of product in it, so it is very easy to hit pan on it. So I am going to work on this again. I'm going to see if I can finish that one. That's one I probably could buy again. I have products similar that I love, but I wouldn't have a problem buying that one again if I didn't have competing products. So if I was only using one bronzer, I would definitely go out and buy that one. I would have no problem with that. Next is the Jaclyn Hill Lip Pencil in Cupcake. This is staying in. It's just a lip pencil. I don't really have a lot to say on it. It's not terrible. It's not great. It's just a lip pencil. And I enjoyed it. It's fine. One I've been killing and loving and using the whole month, even when I was past my number of times I wanted to use it, is my Hourglass Veil Powder. It does look like this. So when I look at mine, I try to put it in the same exact position, and then I put it up in the light, you know, so it's facing the same way and everything. This was about halfway at the last update. Now it's like down to here. So I've definitely made a difference. I'm going to see if I can get the back to pick up. Look around the label that shows you how much where the powder is on that, and you can see when I bought it. So this powder is not fresh and clean and new. I've been enjoying this powder a lot, and I do plan to leave it in. I probably will finish it. That's a powder I wouldn't mind buying again. I absolutely enjoy it. I think if you have dry skin, it's really good. Next, we're almost done with this challenge, guys. Next is the NYX Glow Shots. I have used this. It's been on its side, so I don't want to turn it, but I'm going to turn it this way just to show you how it's got a lot gone from it. This is one that is a very light, smooth, glossy top or shimmery top you can add, and you can add it onto a lot of things because it is green, but it's not a crazy green, and so I was able to utilize that a lot, and I am going to leave that in. Next is the Patrick Ta She's Passionate blush. Does it look like this? This is the original blushes that have just the powder. These were the first ones he released, and it does look like this. I love this. It's like the perfect like reddish orangish color. It looks really good with my skin tone. I have no issue with it. And then the last, or I have two last ones. I have one more product that's actually gone, and this is the NYX Marshmallow Primer. Finished this in its entirety. I actually already have a backup of this. I'm not going to be opening it right now. I'm going to try to go through some more primers, but I did finish that entirely. In its place, I am going to move in the About Face Cream Eyeshadow in Hidden Garden. It does look like this. I have a ton of About Face cream eyeshadows. I love these. They're some of my favorites, and that color in particular looks good with that Kiwi eye shots from NYX, so I can use them together. The last item on this challenge is the Rare Beauty Tinted Moisturizer. That is where we are at on that after the first month in the challenge. I had used this a handful of times, maybe I would say at most 10 prior to this challenge, but I am going to keep working at this and see how far I can get it. So that is my 23 and 23 new as of the end of September. That is where we are at. If you made it this far, I hope you'll like, share, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and I hope I see you again in my rolling 10 challenge coming up next. See you guys soon.